Hello everybody, and I guess we are here for another live show. Streaming is a little long, but it seems to work fine. Okay, hello everyone, welcome to another tech show, and everything looks fine. So hello everybody, welcome aboard. Nice to have you on board, everybody. This is the tech show number 108, and we are March 15th, 2018. And someone in the chat room might actually know what this is because I did not receive this time around a empty envelope. So thank you, Tim, for the birthday card that you sent me. So anyways, this is a show about technology. We start with just talking about technology stuff. I don't answer questions at the beginning of the show. I'll answer the questions later. And of course, this is a show where we will answer a few questions we've got today through email. And hopefully everybody is doing fine, and I'm doing absolutely fine. Beautiful day. We had a snowstorm this week, so just as the snow was melting and we almost didn't have any, we got a dump of a foot of snow over Montreal. And so they were talking today how it's completely crazy. We have so much snow this winter that they overspent millions and millions on snow removal. And in case you guys want to know, Montreal spends $160 million every year just to remove the snow in the streets. That's why basically when there's a snowstorm, we don't get caught, basically. So anyways, we're in deep in snow, but today feels like spring because it's like +5 Celsius or something. But we're going to have a cold spell next week. It's supposed to be really cold, like fall into the -15s again, which is starts to get cold because in March usually we start to get warmer temperatures slowly, but usually we're above zero a little in the daytime at least. So anyways, enough about the weather. We're not a weather report. I should do a weather channel for that. Nice to have everybody on board. Hope you enjoy the show. I need my keyboard, which I believe is somewhere here. So hello everyone. Nice to have you on board, and thank you all for being here. It's always nice to have all of you here. Hello, Tim Robinson, David Walker, Patrick Manny. What do we have? Bobby Burgess, Douglas Elliott, David Walker, Albert Zappa, and did I miss anyone? Homer F 2018. Nice to have everybody here, and pretty cool to have all of you on. Finally, nice to have you on here. Cool Tech, hello there. Nice to have you on board. It's always cool to have everybody on board. And of course, if you enjoy the shows, if you like to follow my shows, don't forget there's a way to help me out through PayPal. At PayPal, I gotta fix that. It's paypal.me, not .com. Don't look at the com. PayPal.me/shortwave, or you can go to your PayPal account, and for some of you know that I've got the email, my Yahoo email for that. Patreon.com/reader and computers. I really need to fix that. So it's .me, not .com. Don't put .com. It's not going to work. .me. I always forget to fix this. It's nice to have you on board, and thanks for everybody that donated as usual. And what else do we have? Sims Forever. Nice to have you on board. And D. Bargavi, nice to have you here. Devil's Drill, hello there. Nice to have all of you on board. So it's been an interesting week on technology. We've got quite a few things, and you know what, guys? Yeah, usually I have Flavor the Water, but I thought, I just got shows today and tomorrow, 2 days. Why not buy a six-pack and get beer for today and beer for tomorrow on the radio show? Why not? So cheers. Nice to have everybody here. So What do we have in the news? Well, first of all, we've got Microsoft that has kind of talked about the fact that girls are not only uninterested in technology, but they are less interested than ever before. A study that was actually conducted by Microsoft, because one of the things that some of the big companies like Microsoft want to do, try to hire more women. And what's happening is that for that, you need girls that go to school and study in tech, in science, in math, and it's just not working apparently, especially on the tech side. They've seen that in the past 10 to 15 years, there are less women going to study technology, and a lot of women feel it's really a guy thing, and they kind of don't like it. So Microsoft says, you know what, it's not necessarily because girls are not interested. It's because the way that we actually have our schools and the way that it's, we're teaching technology isn't just the right way for girls, and that we have to change things. So I think probably, but there's a big mix in these things, because when I thought, and when I just look around me, I know a lot of people, and I just look around me. Basically, pretty much everyone that I know around me, every girl that I know, doesn't really like much. There'll be more the kind of girl or women that are going to come to me and say, well, I've got this problem with my phone. Can you just show me what's happening here or help me out? And I don't really have any tech women around me. And there's kind of a joke going on a little bit, because sometimes when you talk about that, they're going to say, well, it's just your, it's just, these are, toys for men. Men like toys. They play around with these toys. We are not interested. This is just a toy. And it's just like, we don't have the same mentality for some reason. And I don't know. There must be a way to bring women into technology for sure. But, we don't, it's obvious that we don't think in the same way. I don't know. I don't know if it's because, men have this, I always say men have this little child inside them that's always there, where women are often a little more serious, but not all the ways, but and not all the time. But, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Hey, Miss Liddy, Catherine, love you. Nice to see you on board, as usual. Always cool. So, it's kind of interesting, and pretty sad to see that there's not a lot of women going into technology, honestly. And, I don't know. Sometimes I feel that maybe that us guys are a little too rough on, the way we act with girls in school and in technology or stuff. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. It's a very interesting thing to think about, So I don't know. So that's, kind of interesting. It's kind of a mystery, basically. And pretty much all men will tell you that women are a mystery. And if you have questions, just wait till I get to the questions section, guys. I will answer them with happiness and pleasure, and just after I finish my little tech news stuff that I want to talk about. Hey, Brian Wilson. Nice to have you here. What else? Hey, we've got this very weird situation with AMD processors. And now I'm kind of wondering... So here's the thing. It all starts with the fact that a tech company that nobody knows really who they are, because it's like one of the first times we hear about it. what's happening there is that that tech company, that security company, found apparently 13 flaws, security flaws in AMD chips. So the story starts like that. There's 13 security flaws, some really, really bad ones in the AMD chips. But as we read more, we learned that actually AMD might have done something in their processors, which is a backdoor. So AMD might have included a backdoor within their AMD Ryzen CPUs. And now it's creating a security problem, which is as worse as Spectre for Intel. And the funny thing is, AMD kind of bashed on Intel and said, well, you know, that's when you do things, you know, in the wrong way. You have these bad situations. Well, I'm sorry, AMD, it's your turn now. Maybe you should have shut up instead of, you know, saying that, well, the other one, well, you know, yeah. So anyways, it's a very intriguing situation that's happening right now, and we're still at the beginning of what we're learning on this. But I gotta say, with everything that I've read, I'm starting to think, well, you know what? I might want to buy an Intel CPU after all. I don't know. It's a crazy thing, you know. It's two big companies now that are in serious trouble over a situation that Intel, okay, Intel, it's not, you know, they messed up, and, you know, it took years to find a security flaw. They messed up because they took more than 6 months before telling everybody, and they knew. But AMD intentionally putting a backdoor in the processors and having all sorts of little problems like that, that's kind of another league of problems. And I'm not sure why you want to have a backdoor. I am a very strong opponent to backdoors. I think backdoors should never exist in any software, hardware whatsoever. Why? Because it opens and it creates that huge chance that it will, you know, bad guys will find it and all hell will break loose. So an interesting story that is kind of unfolding still. Wow, it's you know, technically it's almost worse than what Intel actually went through. So that's going to be something to look for. And apparently it is only for the Ryzen CPUs, not the previous AMD chips. Gregor Dokleja, nice to have you here, my friend. Christine Bowman, nice to have you on board. Always nice to have everybody here. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Nice to have somebody from India. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So anyways, you know, I don't know, but it's, you know, here the problem, you know, David Walker says no tech will ever be perfect. And that, absolutely, no tech will ever be perfect, because humans are not perfect. There will always be a security flaw or something. The problem now is that, I don't know, intentionally creating maybe a backdoor, that's kind of a league of its own. It's something worse, you know. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy, And of course, we'll see what comes up and what updates and how they handle the situation, basically. You know, pretty crazy. What else do we have? HIDA, you guys in the UK now can watch porn without having verification. So I want to talk about that because obviously it's part of tech, you know, and I think it's a little, frankly, I've seen a website, somebody was posting articles, and one of the websites said, well, we won't talk about anything that has to do with porn, and it's like, yeah, well, porn's a big business, and, you know, I'm sorry, but it's something that many of us actually go and watch, and I don't even understand why people should be ashamed of. It's life, you know. So anyways, hey there, Bill Letterland, nice to have you here. So anyways, in the UK, that would be kind of the first country in the world that basically would have age verification system for porn. Because one of the biggest problems right now is porn is on the web, and if there's no control, your kids could go watch porn whatever age they are very easily, and it's probably been I think it's easier than ever to watch porn anyways. Before it was kind of intimidating because you had to go to that video store and get the porn section stuff, and a lot of people would not do it. Also, the kids couldn't because they were verified. It's like, well, you're not 18, you're not allowed to rent that whatever movie. Internet comes along, and internet is, you can see whatever you want, how you want, when you want, and of course, porn is part of it. So in the UK, they had an idea. Let's do something called Age ID, an age verification system, and let's force internet service providers to, and not just them, but porn sites themselves, to get into this system so that we can verify you're at least 18 years old in order to view pornography. But now they just backed off because one of the biggest problems in here is, Age ID is using a system. They would use different ways of making sure you are who you are, like a driver's permit, driver's license, credit cards, all sorts of ways, including your smartphone. And where it actually doesn't work well is that, some privacy advocates are saying, well, the problem I see here is that we'll kind of, there's all of these information that these guys are going to get on us, knowing that we watch porn, and whatever, what happens if they get hacked or whatever. There's going to be a lot of details on everybody in there. So the government finally said, well, okay, maybe we're not ready yet for that. We've got to do it the right way, which I think is a good idea to think about it seriously. Honestly, I think an age ID verification system is not a bad idea at all. If everybody would adhere to the fact that if you want to see certain type of content, you need to actually pass an age verification system, yeah, why not? Why not? It's not a bad idea. I don't think it is a bad idea. But the problem is the way you're going to do it. How do you do this? How do you do it also? And a lot of people are kind of shy when it comes to that type of thing to watch. So they're like, yeah, so I'm going to give my credit card info to a company so that I can watch porn. I don't know if I want to do that. And frankly, I would not give a credit card information to an age ID system. Because there's no payment. It's just for verification. Because honestly, to have a credit card, you got to be a minimum age. Here in Canada, it's 18 years old. I believe you cannot have a credit card if you're not 18. But I don't like giving out, and a lot of you probably feel the same. I don't like giving out credit card information. I already hate the fact that companies like Amazon keep your credit card on file so that you can order quickly. I never liked the fact that a company would actually, keep your credit card information, honestly. So to give it to an age verification system, not for a transaction, but just for verification, let's give our personal details a minimum. Okay, you want to do a verification system? Why not do an age ID system that we verified you're 18 or over, and now we're going to delete everything we know about you except the fact that you have a right to watch porn or whatever. But not keep on file a credit card, not keep on file any details that you have given, and tell us, okay, this is going to be, for the next 2 minutes, we're going to verify your age or whatever. And if everything works well, we're going to delete all the data and just keep a little file on you saying, yeah, you're 18 or over, you can watch porn or whatever other adult stuff that might be there. So I don't know. it's a delicate thing. There's also the fact that a lot of people, I don't know. There's a lot of privacy thing in there also. Some a lot of the privacy advocates say, well, it's not just that. It's why should you be identified as somebody that will watch porn? That's also something to think about, honestly. I mean, for the most part, some people don't care to talk about it. Some people don't want to talk about it. Plus, there's situations where basically you might not want anybody to know. So I don't know. It's kind of a complex issue here. I don't know what's going to be happening with that for sure. It's kind of a delicate situation, I gotta say. It's a delicate situation. So I don't know. It's something I don't know exactly what to think about. Like I say, I'm not against the verification system. But I don't know. It's maybe all the details I'll have to give. Hello there, Walker Bowl 39. Nice to have you here. And Adela Ward. Nice to have you here. Choose a different browser if you can't see me. If you can hear me. So I don't know. And by the way, one thing that you guys, for those that have not noticed, the archived shows now on YouTube since last week will have the chat room. So when you watch the recorded show on YouTube, the chat room is there. So, one of the biggest problem I had was I answer a lot of the questions and I talk a lot to the chat rooms in general in my shows. But the problem is, when the show's over, the recorded video, I answer the questions, but the chat room wasn't there. And now it's cool because when you watch the recorded show of any of my shows now, chat room is there also. So you actually have the chat room, all that's happened, everything that was said is in there, which is kind of cool. So, it's that's a great idea actually, because, and especially with me doing the interaction with everyone, I think it's, a good thing to have the chat room saved for after. More and more release of fixes by Intel for the Spectre flaw in the CPU. So now we have even older processors like the Ivy Bridge, Sandy Bridge from 2011 and 2012 are going to basically fixed for Spectre, and slowly they're adding the capabilities to more and the fix to more and more of the CPUs and the processors. What is nice also, Microsoft is giving us the possibility to can somebody tell Adela Ward to change browser maybe in the chat, please? If you can't hear me. So with the fix and the KB file that you can download, the fix for Spectre, eventually Microsoft will have a very wide range of fixes for the CPUs. So that's going to be nice because one download fixes your thing. They've expanded also on the download in the Windows Update catalog. So the fix for the CPU has a little more CPUs now that it does, and it will be adding more and more. So that's going to be interesting because at some point, a lot of us will have Spectre fixed by the microcode from basically the microcode from Intel, which is much simpler to download from the Windows Update catalog. Someone was asking me, and I get that all the time, will it be included in some updates at some point? Or even someone said, well, I guess it was going to be included in the next version of Windows. No, it's going to stay. It's going to stay as a manual download because the microcode is a very specific machine thing. So you can't have that installed on every computer because it's going to create problems. So as we get more and more, I'm going to wait till next week, try to issue another update on the situation. And once again, if you are still vulnerable, which is the majority of us, to Spectre, don't go overly mad or crazy about it, because there's mitigation that's going on. The browsers we have had some updates that try to prevent that this problem be exploited by bad guys. So there's a certain security in it. Not to go too crazy over that, but yeah, we will want to have the Spectre fix at some time, at some point. Even the Meltdown fix, which is through the operating system, is getting updates. The Meltdown fix is getting some changes to try to, as time goes by, they will try to make that be less and less of a problem for the speed of your PC. So it's kind of interesting to see that we have that. And in this week's Patch Tuesday, on Tuesday we had the security updates. There was an update sent to Meltdown and Spectre fixes, or mitigation for Windows 7 and Windows 8.1, because these were not yet patched really for Meltdown. Now they are, so that's good. That's really good. Yes, that's a real authentic Atari controller. I got another one in my my shelves over there that I need to fix because it has a short circuit, but it is a real authentic Atari controller. Absolutely. I've got two of them and one Commodore controller. So for these old computers. So anyways, but it won't be a problem, Patrick Manny, for the BIOS updates for Dell, because with the Intel microcodes and the Windows Update catalog download that you'll have, it's going to be fixed through that. So even if you don't have a BIOS update, it's going to be okay. So kind of nice. Albert Zappa, loved your karaoke singing. Thanks. I'm going to be there Saturday. You guys are going to see me again, because I got my birthday party on Saturday night at the karaoke, so I'm going to be there. Lolo Parkovsky, nice to have you here. Always nice to have everybody on board, and pretty cool. Yeah, I got to change browser, check the volume, everything. It's very important to. Most of the people that have problems, by the way, actually use the Google Chrome browser, and they say that when they use the Chrome browser, it always is okay. So nice to have everybody here. Atawana Inta, nice to have you on board. It's pretty cool to have you live all the time. Pretty cool. Dennis, nice to have you here, Dennis. Pretty cool, and really nice to have all of you here. So, what else do we have? What else do we have? Technology, and the kids and technology versus the parents with the kids with technology, and the parents that often have technology but that are a little kind of and I see it honestly. That article, I am not surprised, because I was looking at just all the years that I went through with tech, fixing computers and going to everybody's homes. And one thing, and I don't think it has changed much. One thing that I see, parents are a little overwhelmed with the technology, and if they have kids, yes, they want the kids to fix their technology or to help them understand why and how do you do this or that. So basically, it's a known fact that basically kids will help their parents in general, and not necessarily the best way possible, because when I was doing some my tech duties, a lot of people were saying, well, with today's kids, someday you won't have a job. And I said, oh, that's not true. Kids today are really good at using it. They're really bad at explaining it, and they're really bad at helping you out when there's a problem with it. So you know what, I always was telling them, I ain't afraid of the future with that. And technically I'm not fixing computers really anymore. So hey, here's Mr. Paul saying hello to everybody with his little sleepy eyes, and saying hello to everyone. So anyways, I don't think it has changed, honestly, with the way that technology is. I'm going to go back here on previous. So the way that technology is, working, I don't think that there's any change in that. I think the parents are still a little overwhelmed there, and it's going so fast. There's so many new technologies. If you're not in there in the tech sphere, basically, it's a complex thing, and there's so many little details, and there's always something you just, why the hell this is not working, and so on. But I think this is still going to be something, and let's face it, as kids will grow and become parents, there'll be new technologies that these parents will use but don't understand. Will ask the kids. It's a thing that's always going to be there, basically. Yes, Bill Letterland, you are totally right. Rest in peace, Stephan Hawking. Really, really, Stephan Hawking, an amazing man, an amazing mind, an amazing brain, and helped us change the way we think about the universe, and how all of that is related. Totally amazing guy. That is it's one of the few guys that are in the class, like a class very apart, like Einstein and all of these people that are just amazing when they they talk about the universe and try to prove some of their theories, and reinvent the way that we think. Because let's face it, there's a lot of the science that explains, because we have the knowledge, but there's a lot of the science that is still theoretical. We think it is like this because we see this over here, and that would be a good explanation. And until that is proven, well, it's still a theory. But some are amazing at thinking out of the box and letting us know how all of the universe works. I'm amazed. I'm amazed at Stephen Hawking, but I am amazed at Einstein, because it was so long. It's such a long time ago, and we were such at the beginning of just understanding the basics of everything, that it was just crazy when you think about it. I'm gonna go like this. How do you want to do this, man? He's trying to position himself, but I don't know how. What do you want to do, man? So it's something that is that guy's amazing, and we need more of those. We need more guys that have huge brains. I'm really sorry, man, but I'm trying to find a way to continue here in the chat room and not mess up too much with what's happening. So just crazy, and it's a lot of fun to it's a lot of fun to when you think about it, all the what we learned and everything, you know. Okay. Tawinta says she fixes her grandchildren's computers. You're in a class really apart from everybody else. You are, you know, I've had a few amazing people in my tech duties. I always tell the story of I remember the first time I got a call, and her name was Rose, and she called me up, and the first thing she says, well, you know, I'm an old lady, I'm 86 years old, I need help with some of the things that I do on my computers. And, you know, as a tech guy, you have always that kind of a little bit of that bias where, well, you know, anybody over 70 calling you is always in the basics of what help they need. And when I got there, first thing she says, well, okay, so I modified this image with Photoshop, and I'm trying to upload it via FTP to my website, but it doesn't work for some reason. It says authentication failed, and I can't, you know, it worked last week and now it doesn't this week, so I need to understand how my FTP client is. So it's like, okay, I was not expecting somebody like that when I arrived here. So, you know, you are part of that type of you know, much more knowledgeable person, and you know, there are some, and I mean, I'm absolutely not surprised, and your grandchildren must be totally surprised that you can actually fix the computers. So you know, don't stop. It's just fantastic, and you know what? It's a great thing also because as we get older, our mind needs to work. We need to have everything, you know, working in our heads, because if we don't, you know, or we stop, if we stop for a long time, you know, doing practical things, there comes a time when we lose it really fast. So we got to be alert, and technology is great for that. Keep us, you know, in shape, and basically, it's pretty cool. So, what else do we have? Just looking at the chat room quickly here, saying, so nice to have people. So, yep, yeah, absolutely. You're totally right, because the what was 76, and for those that don't know what that is, what he had as an illness is the same as it's ALS. It's the same thing. We did the ice bucket challenge a few years back. And but that disease has two ways of hitting people. There's the fast way, the one that you'll die really young, and there's a slower form of it. And typically, people can live quite a long time. So you know what? He's lived to 76, which is considering everything, you know. He's amazing. No, I can tell you, Paul the cat is really not starving. I'm actually too good with the cat. Every time he's looking at me, it's like, I want food. He looks at me and looks at his food, and it's like, okay, you want to have food? And I always, you know, give him food and everything. So it's just amazing. But crazy. Oh, when did that happen? That thing. I saw some of you talking about what happened. I didn't watch the news since this morning. So what happened? Something happened in pedestrian overpass walkway collapse at Miami University. Wow. So let's hope not too many people. Not too many people. Enough of these things at universities and college and high schools. Already had enough of these people, you know, being shot down. You don't need all of these problems there. Right to repair. California is the next the next state to want to really make sure. So, oh, it happened yesterday. Wow, we didn't even hear about it here. So you guys heard that news? I didn't even hear about that news here. It's interesting. So, oh, just opened yesterday. Wow. Man, seriously? Somebody messed up in a serious way. It opened up yesterday and it happened a little while ago. This is nuts. Somebody did not do his job here. Really crazy. So anyways, right to repair. California adds its voice to the few states that want to have right to repair. And you know what? In today's technology, that's a serious issue. And I mean, why can't we, and why isn't technology, and I mean, okay, I answered my question by saying it because, yeah, they want to sell more of these devices. Okay? But the thing is, if you want to have some stuff repaired, why not? I would go even further than that. You know what? Because some of these states even had a right to modify. You know, once I buy a device, I'm sorry, it's mine. And one of the things I always hated was companies saying, hey, well, if you modify your device, oh, it's, you know, we're going to stop this, or we're going to, you know, you won't be allowed to do that. And it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's my device. I paid for it. Especially when they're expensive. And it's like buying a desktop computer. And you buy a desktop computer usually because you want also the possibility to, a guy like me will want the possibility to change things and add memory and, you know, whatever. And I would buy a desktop and they would say, you know what? You're not allowed to open it and change the graphics adapter. What? It's my PC. What the hell? It's my PC. It's I want to do it and that's it. So the right to repair, also for small devices, it isn't normal that we have devices that are almost impossible, if not impossible to repair because they are made in a way that it is impossible to do so. I do understand that, you know, miniature things are harder to repair, but still, why can't we, you know, these things are expensive. Why can't I go somewhere and say, hey, my, you know, Galaxy S7 phone has a problem. Can you repair? You know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think it is, you know, I think it is important that we do so. And now I'll put this back up so you guys stop looking at my belly, my beer belly. And, you know, when Paul the cat was there, it wasn't too bad. But now it's the beer belly. So, anyways, yes, Polly is a beautiful cat. You know, I don't think a day goes on without me having some moment where I look at Paul the cat and just say, wow, so beautiful. Nice to have you here, Zach Antle. Nice to have you on board, by the way. John Patel, nice to have you here also. Pretty cool to have all of you on board. You guys are always cool and nice to see, for sure. So, what else do we have? The Oculus Rift, or the Oculus. Oculus had a hell of a problem last week. All of their headsets are... wait, I saw somebody in the chat room I want to say hi. I didn't say hi to, I believe. Sorry guys, just want to... Oh, Kirk Weber, nice to have you here. That's what I saw. And nice to have you here. And Reese Odom, nice to have you on board. You know, all the headsets stopped because one of the certificates was outdated. I mean, this is kind of a really bad situation there. And I mean, some people use these headsets, these VR headsets, for their work. So it's just crazy. So anyways, there's a fix going on, but apparently it's a big mess and a lot of people are having problems. It's just crazy. I can't understand that a company has something like that going. I mean, come on. What the hell's happening with that? How long did I have Paul? Paul is been with me for, in June is going to be 3 years. In June is going to be 3 years since I first saw Paul the first time. And but I don't know how old he is exactly, because he actually was my neighbor's cat, and he chose me. So the neighbor, when she moved away, she said, "Look, my cat obviously loves you and wants to see you all the time. So look, I'm moving. Do you want to have the cat? Because I want my cat to be happy. And obviously, he's happy with you." So that's how it happened. And it's going to be 3 years in June. So it's just crazy. But it's just funny because, you know, he started coming over here in the backyard. He would, you know, go up the steps, the staircase, and you know, be there at the door. And, you know, at first I was like, what? You know, you lost or something? You know? But, you know, slowly, just coming to my place. She noticed once that, every time she would open the door, because he wanted to go out, he wasn't not going anywhere. It was just going upstairs, coming to my place. And she says, "Wow, every time I open the door, the only thing he wants to do is go up and see you." I was like, okay. And what really probably made her give me the cat is one day, and I was kind of sad for her. So one day, Paul is outside. She's arriving from work. I'm arriving from the grocery store. And Paul the cat is like 3 or 4 houses down, and he sees us, and he starts running towards us. So she looks at him, and she's like, "Oh, Paul, he's coming." You know, it's like, "Oh, hello, Paul." He totally ignores her and comes in front of me and says, like, you know, just like lies down and says meow. And he wants me to pet him and everything. He totally ignores her. So I was kind of a little sad because I was like, oh man, I feel like I'm stealing somebody else's cat. But I think that is what made her kind of take the decision. She obviously noticed, okay, the cat really loves you, and he doesn't care about me. So that's pretty much what happened. But oh man, it was just crazy. It was just crazy. So it's just funny. Conspiracy theories. So YouTube. YouTube is looking at how it can, you know, I think we are in that moment, in that era of everything, you know, is that fake news or not? Or, you know, there are things that is very delicate to talk about. So YouTube wants to, so if you put a conspiracy theory video, say we didn't land on the moon, YouTube wants to actually have links related to that will bring you to articles that talk about it and that kind of will, you know, have opinions on what you are seeing. One of the things they want to do is actually use Wikipedia links. And it was funny because I saw Tim's comment on the post of the news bulletin. And you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of people that think Wikipedia is not necessarily a great encyclopedia because too many people can have access to the articles, can modify them, and so on. But you know what? I'm not one of them. I think Wikipedia is actually a very, very, very accurate. Honestly, I can tell you by the articles that I've read that I know a lot about, the accuracy of Wikipedia is very surprising. And there's two reasons why. Because, first of all, there's a study that has been done. They've compared Wikipedia with Encyclopedia Britannica, which is a more formal and official thing. They took like 1,000 articles, compared them, and Encyclopedia Britannica had 3 mistakes, and they said that Wikipedia had 4 mistakes. And so they kind of say, well, you know what, the information in Wikipedia is actually quite good. And one of the reasons why it's quite good, by the way, because there are 2 things you got to understand about Wikipedia. Some articles might be modified by pretty much anybody. So, yes, a lot of articles on Wikipedia, everybody has the possibility to modify it. But what's the thing here? And what makes it still good, even though, say you have an article of the moon landing, well, yeah, there might be that guy that's going to go there and is going to say, we're going to go on the moon, that's a hoax, and modify the article. But the problem is, it doesn't work very long, because the people that actually are intense at trying to get the best, and information there are always editing, always. So yes, some guys that are not okay with some information will want to modify articles to change the view, but remember, there's a same number, if not more, of people that want the truth that will also modify it. So the articles over a long time are still very accurate. And one of the things that you gotta understand, like Tim says, how long before people start editing Wikipedia to accommodate conspiracy theories, is that the top layer of the most sensitive stuff on Wikipedia, you're not allowed to modify it. You, Tim, would not be able, for example, to go and modify an article about Jesus. You are not allowed to do that. You don't have the level required to do that. Wikipedia has levels of who can modify stuff. So the basic functionalities, the basic articles, pretty much anyone. Then there's a layer where you need to be, you need to show that you're knowledgeable, and there will be verification about your knowledge of whatever happens. And of course, things that are much more sensitive are modified only by a very small amount of people. So, in general, Wikipedia is actually surprisingly accurate in a lot of stuff. Now, it's not perfect, and yes, there are stuff that's like, what the hell? One of the things that is, I would say, probably the biggest danger of Wikipedia would be more not on the articles themselves of a specific thing, but more on the side of, what about if I want to have a Wikipedia page about Jesus did not exist? Now, I could add my own entry and have a page of why Jesus does not exist. And that page might stay there if I have enough seriousness within the article. So that means if you would type Jesus, because this is one of the most sensitive things on Wikipedia right now, you would find that there are more than one articles about Jesus. The official article and the possibility of articles of, other things related to Jesus. But the thing is about the conspiracy stuff is, apparently what YouTube did is that they announced that at South by Southwest, but I've read another article that said Wikipedia came back and said, whoa, we did not agree to have the articles or the links to some articles, you know. So, but apart from that, you know, Wikipedia has a lot of, you know, you got to understand that there are some people out there that they are crazy about how, you know, articles need to be accurate. And these guys are constantly monitoring everything on Wikipedia. That's why, as surprising as it might sound, Wikipedia is actually surprisingly accurate. It's the level and the number of people monitoring all the time. There are people that will spend their whole day going through articles and making sure that they're accurate and modifying things. And you know, some of them have higher possibilities. Some are ranked high enough that they can actually modify certain types of articles that not everybody can. So, you know, but it's funny because Wikipedia came back and said, well, we kind of did not agree to this. I don't understand where you guys think that we are in that verification. And you know, conspiracy theories will always be there, for sure. And basically, hey, Gripple Pearls. Yes, absolutely. He was the Jesus invented Skype, Gripple Pearls. Oh God, I had to put that one in. Oh man, nice to have all of you here. So anyways, you know, conspiracy theories, there will always be. There will always be people that don't believe in certain things. Some, you know, what hurts the most in the conspiracy theories is the people that do it for the money. You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories that the owner of that article or that theory doesn't even believe it himself, but he found that, hey, this is going to make the web go crazy and I'm going to make tons of money. So they will support it, even though, you know, everybody puts proof in their face that it's impossible. They're going to just, no, you know, because they're making tons of money. You know, one that was, the monetization was removed was the guy's a complete nut job. It was Alex Jones. And I still can't believe that Alex Jones still has a voice on the radio, because when you listen to what he has to say, with absolutely no proof or whatever, it's like, whoa, that's, you know, bull. I mean, come on, you're crazy. You're just inventing stuff to try to, you know, make it interesting or something. You know, his monetization went away, and I kind of, okay, and I totally agree, because he said that the school shooting actually was a hoax. It did not happen. It's a fake news going around, and you're like, what? Okay, you know, there's a limit on shitty news, I can tell you that. Cripple Pearls just kiss my grits. Love you, Gripple Pearls. Oh God. So anyways, oh yeah, Alex Jones is completely nuts. I hear that guy on the radio because he has a radio show on the shortwave through a station, WWCR. God. You know, I'll listen sometimes for an hour because he's nut and it's totally crazy. But there's some kind of entertainment in there, you know. But it's like... Anyways. Patch Tuesday this week. Hope you men and women out there have patched your computers, because there's a lot of security fixes. One critical, the Flash Player update. For the rest, you know, security updates on different departments, including you know, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, the Windows kernel. There was little fixes everywhere. I believe the only critical flaw was the Flash Player, though. The other one were in important. Important, that means that they need to be fixed, but they're not, you know, critical. Critical means bad guys are already exploiting it. Of course, Flash Player all the time. So check that out. Also, these updates, of course, had a Spectre or Meltdown, more on Meltdown and Spectre mitigation. So basically, kind of interesting to see, and for Windows 7 and Windows 8.1. So kind of interesting to have that, and bug fixes for Windows 7, Windows 8.1, and Windows 10. So kind of interesting here. Apart from that, pretty pretty quiet. I've not seen a lot of people complaining about problems or anything, so that's good news for a Patch Tuesday, because you never know what's going to happen if they're going to break something. But just make sure you update your computers. Well, it's official. It's called the Spring Creators Update. So for us that are insiders, and we'll talk about that in the Insider Show in an hour's time from now. So the Spring Creators Update is officially the name. Yawn. I don't know. Please, Microsoft, do something about naming these versions of Windows and stop calling creators. I just can't see that word anymore. Okay. So we know it's Spring Creators Update. Microsoft officially also announced that April is when it's going to launch. It seems like, and according to Mary-Jo Foley, that March the 23rd, that's next Friday. March the 23rd might be RTM. That means us insiders might kind of be at the official release. So we'll see that. And it's going to be an interesting and exciting times to see that for sure. And no, the Spring Creators Update will not include fixes for Spectre, as it is a manual download. They can't do that, honestly. It is really a manual download for the fix. And it is really because they just can't push that update like that. They can't have it integrated to the operating system, basically. So well, Zach, it's just that I'll tell you what actually makes me go crazy a lot more than just the name Creators Update. It's the fact that they're using a wording like spring or fall, because it's a little annoying. Because I mean, if you are just intelligent enough to understand that the world, we're not all in the same season. So Spring Creators Update, yeah, but in South America they're going to be in the fall. In Australia, I don't know. Do you not realize that it's not spring everywhere on Earth, like it was not fall everywhere on Earth at the same time? That is where I don't like that. Okay, Creators Update, whatever creator is in Windows, but it's three times they've used Creators Update. You know what? They should stop naming them and just give a number. I am for the build number, the version number. They should have said, hey, here's Windows 10 1803. 1803 tells us when it's released. Now with the names, you kind of, I'm starting to actually get confused. Somebody tells me, oh, I'm on, 1607. And I'm like, 1607, what was that called already? Or, or the reverse. Oh, anniversary update. Oh, what version number was that? I'm starting to forget now. There's too many versions of Windows 10. If they just put the number, we always know what. It's very clear. We know it's the March 2018 update. That's it. Stop giving names. Just put the version number. It's just crazy. I don't know. So, pretty crazy. yeah, it tells, 1803 just says it all. And kind of interesting. Okay, question time. Question time. We're going to look at question time. The update within the operating system, because there's too many different microcodes to put. You have to have specific microcode for a specific machine, and you can't change a microcode or send a microcode to a machine that would not have it's not supported, for example. So that's why they are not going to add it, but they're going to have it as a manual download for everybody, basically. And but it's very cool that Microsoft is actually doing this, because honestly the biggest problem, and the one that I was scrambling on how I can actually do it, to explain how to get the microcode for Intel, was crazy. And the fact that Microsoft is saying, look, we'll include it in one name, one same KB file download. All you need to do is wait until they have it for your specific processor. But once again, one of the things, because I get regular people talking to me or sending messages, emails, whatever, saying, look, I'm scared, I don't have the Spectre fix. Don't be. There are mitigation going on. Your browsers are kind of hardened so that they actually try to prevent the security flaw from being exploited. And look, it is working, because flaw was discovered just a couple of days after New Year. We have absolutely nobody or any signs of anyone that have been exploited through the Spectre flaw right now. If it would be really bad, we would see people being hit hard by this, or not. So I think it's it's not that bad. We gotta put that in context. First, what is blockchain in simple terms? Asks Robert L. So blockchain is, in very, very simple terms, because it's a complex thing, but in a very simple term. So simply put, when we do things, sometimes we need a central database for something. So when there's a different kind of like our banking system, for example. Our banking system is made of centralized data, and you will have all the information in a database somewhere where they access all that information when they need it. Blockchain is decentralized data. Blockchain is every bit of whatever's happening. So for example, in Bitcoin, is everywhere. There's no central database, so you don't have the possibility of maybe having something not working or a Bitcoin broken because you stopped the central database because people don't want to, or governments don't want to have Bitcoin. Instead, decentralized. But that also means that the data will be on your computer, on others' computers. If you have a Bitcoin, you'll have a something like a 200 gigabyte blockchain file that contains tons of data on the cryptocurrency. So a very simple term is a decentralized way of having data about something. It's a little more complex than that, but I didn't want to, and it's a little tedious to explain it really. But just think about it as decentralized data that can be anywhere and that has millions of copies updated all the time. Very important, because blockchain is something that's evolving as the current cryptocurrencies, for example, or different things that you do. So it's always being updated every time, all the time. And that's the simple term. the simple way of explaining it, basically. Cool Tech, do you like rooting your Android phone? I don't need to, because whatever I'm doing is not, you don't need to root it, but you know, I don't really do that much. Maybe if I'd have several phones available, I'd probably go into rooting stuff, but I don't really like rooting much because of the risk of breaking the device. You know, there's always a risk. And whatever I do, you know what, because one of the things that, and one of the reasons sometimes you want to root is for certain types of devices or things that you want to do. For example, I do radio stuff, and there's a device that needs a driver to work that you plug into your Android phone. And it's nice because from Android 6 and up, there's actually better access to the basic system. So there are things you can do without having to root the phone anymore, which is nice. But I'm not a big fan of rooting. Maybe if I had, like I said, if I had several devices or lying around to do things, absolutely. Verkilly 2, does Bitcoin mining make money from nothing? And what does it have to do with graphic cards? Okay, you are not making money from nothing. You are making money by doing the tremendous amount of mathematical calculations to get the cryptocurrencies. And it's because every cryptocurrency has a set amount of available coins. So like the Bitcoin is like 21 million, and we've got something like 16 million right now that have been coined or mined. And as the blockchain increases, as the mathematical calculations go on, it actually at some point will create or generate a Bitcoin. Now the thing is, the problem with that is that as the cryptocurrency gets mined, it actually increases the amount of data, of calculations, of math to be done for the next Bitcoin to show up, or the next coin of cryptocurrency or whatever. And basically it's getting harder and harder to make money. Those that made money by mining Bitcoins or mining cryptocurrencies were the ones that did it when it started, the beginning of the craze. They made money out of it. And because it was the beginning, you didn't even need a very powerful computer to actually generate the coins. But not from nothing. They're from a set amount of cryptocurrency available. So it's a very complex thing to explain. So basically there's still about 5 million Bitcoins that still have not been mined. To give you an idea of how complex it is to get those, the 5 million that are left are not expected to be mined before something like 2050 or something. I don't remember the exact year, but it's like maybe dozens of years from now. What do graphics cards have to do with that? Well, your graphics card can do two wonderful things. Display amazing graphics on your screen and games, and and to do that, actually, very powerful graphics adapters that display beautiful imagery at good frame rates is very simple. They're calculations. So what's happening is that to do that, the graphics adapter, the graphic cards, have a processor. Now, because it's a graphics card, we call it a GPU, a graphics processor. But honestly, remove the graphics side to it. It's just a CPU. It's just a processor like any other processor. It's just that it's specialized to do graphics. And that means that it does calculations. So what happens is that you can now that I told you that mining bitcoins really takes amazing amount of computing power. Well, now you can not only use the CPU in your machine, your Intel or AMD CPU, but the miners are also going to use the GPU, the processor within the graphics card, to increase the speed at which it can calculate and mine a coin. So that's why graphics cards are important, because the processors or the GPU of the graphics card is so powerful that it immensely makes things go faster. And of course, many of these Bitcoin miners will use multiple graphics adapters at the same time, all calculating. So the reason to do this is very simple. You can have one computer, multiple graphics cards. It multiplies the amount of power of your machine a lot. It also does another thing that is right now beginning to show its head, and a lot of companies are really going mad at it. Even here, our power company, Hydro-Quebec, has said that they are actually looking into it because it's becoming a problem. Cryptocurrency mining, because of the heavy use of the technologies, the processors, it creates a huge demand of electricity. Huge demand. So there are utility companies that distribute electricity that are starting to say, you know what, we're starting to see a spike of demand of electricity because there are too many computers running heavy calculations. That means your computer is actually consuming more power, and they're kind of wondering, what are we going to do? It's Iceland said that in 2018, this year, the amount of power used by the population of Iceland, well, cryptocurrency mining in servers there in Iceland will actually use more power than the combined total of population will use power in the country. It is a huge problem. It's a huge problem for everybody, because it means what we will see as a economic side to the crypto mining craze right now is that not only are we seeing hike in prices of our technology, so graphics adapter now are like impossible to buy because they're just so expensive, we will see an increase in the prices of everything. Because if the demand gets too big on electricity, there will need to be investments. If there's investments, there's going to need to be a hike in price of everything we pay for. It is becoming a huge issue, and it is becoming a huge issue in another way. The number in the millions of computers that are crypto mining without anybody knowing about it or taking time before they notice is going to also increase the demand of electricity everywhere, increase the prices of electricity, increase the prices of every product we buy. It is becoming a very serious issue, and it's just that nobody knows exactly what to do to reverse the situation, and that's the scary thing. That's the scary thing. Totally scary, gotta say. Zakantel says, so I run a program that uninstall apps never use that you can't uninstall, like mail and calendar, and I defragmented the hard drive, got it down to 52 gigabytes out of 912. Wow. Yeah, that's the thing, Patrick. It's that Sheriff's House, hello there. So the information in the blockchain for all the coins that exist is calculated through these. It's very complex. I'd have to. I was thinking the other day of making a video and explaining it in a specific way. It's virtual money, and virtual money is not like it's not like hard-earned cash. It is created by doing all of these calculations to mine it. I'm gonna have to try to find a way to explain it better, because it's obviously something that I think for a lot of us is a little. So you know what? I'll do a little something for that, because I got regular questions about that. What I will do is actually find a way to explain it really well. And next week's show, we'll have a little special on, cryptocurrency, the mining, and all of that. I think that could be an interesting little side to the show to talk about it. So people in the beginning made money or buy bitcoins for free. How did they make? Well, not for free, because you gotta understand, you need to buy stuff. So for example, if you got a $2,000 computer, you did spend $2,000. And remember, the Bitcoin back then was worth a couple of bucks, $2, $3, $4. So yeah, they would mine, and they would get them easily. But you spend $2,000 for getting Bitcoins that are worth $2 each. You're gonna have to mine 1,000 Bitcoins just to match the price of your PC. So that's where it's not free. And right now, it's not free because you're spending electricity. So if I've got here 20 computers running Bitcoin mining, the price of the 20 computers with the graphics cards, plus my electricity bill that's just going up really a lot, it ain't free. You're not getting it for free. It's just that where the problem is right now, because honestly, nobody's doing crypto mining. Just, you're not making money with crypto mining by mining at home. That's why we see all these new variants of little software and little things, ads, or there are tons of little things on the internet that, like when you go to a website, they do crypto mining on your computer while you're visiting the website, for example. Now that is a different thing, because if you are able to get 10 million computers doing crypto mining at the same time, now the computing power is so huge, you might make money. And one of the things that I was reading is that there was a group of Bitcoin miners from Russia, I believe. They made $7 million in 6 months. But they were behind one of the big crypto mining malware. And it's technically malware or not, it's kind of not obvious. But by infecting or by injecting code onto a lot of web pages, they were able to use the computing power of millions of PCs visiting these web pages, like Pirate Bay, for example. And they made $7 million in 6 months. Now that is almost free money, because all they did was create a code, have somebody find a way to inject it within websites, and it's not their computing power, it's not them spending all the electricity, it's us now. And now that's also why it's a problem. We're paying for those guys that want to have cryptocurrency mining. Very, very crazy, and it's amazing what's happening. Muni Saeed, nice to have you here. So it's just crazy. Well, they're not mining technically on supercomputers, because these are very specialized and usually do their specific things. They're mining in servers. There's a lot and a lot and a lot of servers around the world right now that are mining without nobody knowing about it. So it's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Can tell you that. So it's just crazy. It's just crazy when you think all that they're doing with that. And It's a craze, and you know, the human, you know, the how thirsty humans are for money is crazy, and is making tons of things. You know, it's pretty grim. You know, and it's really crazy what's going to happen in the future. I can tell you that. Yeah. Cool Tech, what's your favorite social media? I will say honestly, social media for me is a thing that I've been drawn into, not a thing that I use for because I want to. I'm a big user of Facebook. I'm a pretty big user of Facebook. I'm a rather average user of Twitter. And that's pretty much it. Where I would say, and YouTube, we can consider YouTube a form of social media because it, you know, just look at what we're doing here and the live shows. I would say for contacts with my friends and family, Facebook is amazing. For information about what's happening, Twitter is not bad. That's pretty much what I would say, most of it. But honestly, I was pushed into Facebook because of all the people I know. And you know, when you go out at a bar, you go somewhere, it's like, well, you're not on Facebook. You would know already about this if you were on Facebook. Okay, I'm going to go on Facebook. You know, it's just crazy. Just crazy. So, you know. Yeah. Well, you know, cryptocurrency in a very basic manner, it's money. It's just money that is virtual. But it is money. It is convertible in hard cash if you want. But because of the way that it does it, you can, you know, it can be very, you know, you can do a lot of things and not know about it. Green 9227, nice to have you here. We'll try to have something a little more on that. I think it's something that obviously, you know, a lot of people find mysterious, and we can find a different way to explain it. So next week I'll do a little special on cryptocurrencies, and you know, Bitcoin mining or cryptocurrency, because there's not just Bitcoin. There's different cryptocurrencies now. There's Monero. There's different kinds. So we're going to talk about it. You know, Atawinta says greed in all forms is lethal to healthy culture. Absolutely, absolutely. Second, how often can you do factory resets on computers? I do it on my phone a bit more often than I want to admit. It seems like it works perfectly each time. You can do factory resets as much as you want, I can tell you that. Don't worry, Grapple Pearls, it's not just over there, it's also everywhere. People are just going crazy. Yeah, I read it. But it's not, you know, I'm not that big of a fan, honestly, of social media. I realized that there's an importance in it more since I've been doing YouTube stuff, because obviously it's a way of reaching everyone, you know. Oh, don't worry about it, Tim. Don't worry about it. You're already very, very generous. Okay? Can tell you that. Cool, Green Line 227. So next week we'll talk a little bit more about that. You know, there's a lot of problems, and it's just crazy. It's just crazy, you know. We have Tommy that is worried because he didn't get the USB fix for Windows Update. It doesn't install, gives him an error message. One of the things you want to try, Tommy, because you did check out my video on how to fix Windows Update, is try to do things I can say, because you tried manually with the update catalog, you tried fixing Windows Update, but you can't complete the way to have it fixed. If you're on Windows 7, hold down the F8 key at the start of your PC and go into safe mode in your Windows 7 machine, and you will be actually able to reset the Windows Update with the video that I've posted. It's because something is preventing you from doing it in the regular mode. If you're on Windows 10, you can go into the the safe mode by holding the left shift key on your keyboard and clicking restart on the start menu. But at the same time, you got to hold the shift key on the left side of your keyboard. You will actually be able to go into safe mode there and try the same thing. Just a reminder of one thing though, the USB fix, if you don't have problems and never have problems with USB, it doesn't really matter if it's not there. And you'll see also because now we had the security updates on Tuesday, did the security updates, Tommy, actually install on your PC also? It's very important. And of course, Tommy always wants to say hello to everybody in the chat, as he's stuck with an older computer and can't really do much. But you know, it doesn't matter that much, honestly. No, it's more of because some things sometimes happen, Zach Antle, because technically a factory reset should always work well, honestly. So, you know. Well, you can, Tim, I have no problem with that. If you want to post the videos of me singing, I have absolutely no problem with that. So, you can do whatever you want. And Green 9227, yeah, no builds yet. We've got 17.120 Tuesday. So we'll see. Might be tomorrow also. And hey, Ripple Pros, no, totally. Look, my time in the past week, I've had so little time to do just barely what I want to do. It was totally crazy. Totally crazy. Somebody asked about, and I did see it go through, but I don't remember it too, about the dark theme for the Twitter app, I believe, for Android. It's our YouTube app. It's soon to be there. I know it's one of the updates that's going to happen soon. Pretty sure. So nice to have you here. Hey, Salvador. Nice to have you on board. So, always nice. Rick Saturn, nice to have you here. Yeah, YouTube app. Yeah, it's in one. I think the next update you'll probably have it available. Windows 7. This comes from Mark Anthony. He says, "Am I wrong in being okay with this OS? Everybody tells me I should move to Windows 10 on my friends, but I like Windows 7. And you're totally right to like it. And no, you don't have to move to Windows 10. Not yet. And you still got till January 2020. So if you like it, it's okay. It's okay. Don't worry. You know, I'm not the kind of guy that is fond of pushing everybody to the latest, you know. I've never been that type of guy, of tech guy, honestly. You will eventually have to, you know, I mean, in January 2020, no more security updates, that's going to be a problem, but you're fine. If you like what you have and it works fine, it's okay. Tony Jones, hello there. Do you think Windows 10 is getting better with each update? Yeah, kind of. I'd say yes, because there are new features and new little things. But that's my side of me seeing everything within the Windows updates. Honestly, where I am a little, where I'm a little out of, you know, for Windows 10 is on regular folks, you know, the regular day-to-day, you know, guys and girls that use it, where all of these updates amount to nothing, because all of these updates amount to Windows 10, not, they don't see what's new or what's useful or what's, you know, and I get that all the time on the channel. Somebody will post, well, you know, I looked at your video showing all the new features of this or that update, but honestly, I don't see myself using any of that, and I'm not interested, which is 80% of all Windows 10 users, honestly, at least. So, yes, I think it's getting better, but at the same time, I think that it's pushing huge updates that take a lot of time, that risk your computer maybe having problems. And for what? For most people not really seeing anything. So, you know, but personally, I think it is getting better, yes. Well, I hope they really speed up new versions for Samsung, because, I mean, they're really slow, honestly, at pushing updates. I'm going to tell you that. Really slow at pushing updates. Hubbard's up 24/7. Well, it wouldn't be interesting, because the bar where I go to is, honestly, nothing really happens until about 6 p.m. So, you know, it's it would not be useful to have a 24/7 live cam. And the karaoke starts only at 8 p.m. till 3 a.m. So, you know, actually the nice part of that is that moment. And also, one of the reasons why the owner doesn't want the camera to be there earlier is that he doesn't like, and which is I totally understand, but he doesn't like to show the place when there's no one, you know, when it's empty, basically. Sheriff's House says, I wish they would fix the old problems instead of adding new stuff. Yeah, but it depends on what problems you have. Not everybody has old problems. You know, I don't have any problems, so I'm okay with new stuff. There's a small amount of people that have issues, but it's not that much, actually. It's like I say, you know, we got to be careful with when we see that there's tons of posts on the internet about people having problems. You know, remember that just 0.5% of anybody that upgrades gets a problem. Well, there's 600 million people that will upgrade for computers, and 0.5% is a lot of people. It's millions of people. So that means that you'll have tons of posts of people having problems. So it always seems huge. On the Windows side, it always seems huge every time there's a small issue, because of the sheer number of people that will have an issue when just 0.5% have a problem. That's the thing. So it's very, very difficult. If I tried a Windows Phone, I've played a lot with Windows Phones because of when I was doing a lot of tech duties. So yes, I can technically say I've used the Windows Phone, because I've played a lot with different models of Lumia phones through some of my clients that had those. I never owned one myself. I always thought they were nice, though. I always thought that they were kind of a nice, really nice. It's but you know, it's sad that it's really sad that they abandoned the platform pretty much. If the $10, if the S10 is a foldable phone, would you buy it? Actually, here's the thing. My contract has expired this month. That means I would be able to buy a phone subsidized by my carrier. I've got two little things going through my head. I like the S9. I've seen a lot of reviews, and now that a lot of tech journalists have received their S9, I'm thinking, what do I do? Do I upgrade to an S9? I've got an S7. Or the other, and because I don't feel the urge to upgrade right now. My S7 works really fine. It's really, really good. Camera is amazing. It's not because it would be a foldable phone or anything, but more because, well, if I'm to jump to new technology, and because the fact that the S9 in reality is just a little faster, has a little better camera, but really nothing much more than that to offer, I'm not really inclined to upgrade right now. And maybe waiting for the 10 next year is a better thing. I don't know. I'm just going to go quick through the questions here, okay, guys? And I'm going to answer quickly to your questions. We'll try to go faster because 19 minutes from now we'll be on the Insider Hour show. So iTunes crashes when I plug the iPhone 10. That comes from Françoise, which is in France and likes my videos. Two things. Make sure you have the latest version of iTunes installed on your PC. The other thing, iTunes is a huge problem in Windows very, very often. I have a video that explains to you how to uninstall, because you said you uninstalled it and reinstalled it, generally. One of the biggest problems in iTunes is the way that it can corrupt some files, and what you need to do, just search on my channel for how to fix iTunes. It's a series of steps, and it's very important to do them exactly in the order that I've talked about it. Don't mix the orders, it won't work. Every step, one after the other. It's going to take you half an hour to do that. But once you reinstall iTunes, I bet you it's going to be fixed. It happens very often. That's pretty much it. What is your opinion on Mac computers? They're fine. I've owned a MacBook for years, mostly for work. It's okay. I mean, they're nice computers. I've got a few friends that are Mac users. It's not my thing, but they're okay. And, when somebody tells me, well, I'm going to buy a Mac, go ahead. Linux versus Mac versus Windows. This question comes from William, and William asks, what would be my favorite OS and what differences would I see between different OSs like Windows and Linux and Mac? Honestly, they're all operating systems that control your computer. Do I have a preference? I like all operating systems. I've got a Linux machine with elementary OS. I've got I used a MacBook for years. I have multiple Windows PCs. It's mostly more of a whatever you want to use thing, and whatever you're going to do also. But all OSs are nice, honestly. And do not believe that one is more secure than the other. Ain't true. Old chart drawing printer, what can I do? This comes from Philip. Philip has a old chart printer, and I know exactly what you mean. I actually helped a few businesses that had these chart, because you're talking about the pencil stuff. So it's a chart printer, and it's completely nuts. For those that don't know what they are, so they are huge printers, really, really big. Like I would say, 3 by 3 meters. They're really, really big. And they have a robotic arm that has pens with different colors in it. And it will draw charts of all kinds when they're programmed to do so. So your problem is that you've moved to a new computer with Windows 7 because it was controlled on Windows XP, and you say that you can't find a working driver. And here's the thing, you won't be able to find a working driver for an old printer like that, especially a model you gave me. I looked, and you're even lucky it was working on Windows 7, on Windows XP, sorry. So what I would suggest that you do, honestly, get yourself an old computer, okay? Get yourself an old computer. I'll have one for 50 bucks. Install Windows XP on it, okay? And plug the printer on that. And one of the questions you have is, well, you know, what about if I get an old, you know, XP computer? Is it a security risk? No, because you know what you're going to do? You won't plug it on the internet. And if you're careful, don't plug it on the internet, and when you have things to do in it, that computer does only that. It's not on the internet or anything, you can't surf. So it can't, there's no risks. A computer that's not on the internet or in any form plugged into the outside world has absolutely no issues. You could run Windows 3.1 and be fine. So find yourself a really old, crappy computer. You might even have somebody somewhere who's going to say, oh, I've got an old Dell from 2005, Pentium 4 or something, and you know, get Windows XP on it. Just don't plug it on the internet and do nothing of the outside world. It's only useful to control that printer, because obviously at it's like a $2,000 or $3,000 printer. You're better off buying a $50 crappy PC and still having it work than investing in a new printer, honestly, when it does the job. He also asks, do I use PayPal? Is it secure? Because he has some people that say that they want to pay him via PayPal. He's also dabbling into the possibility of buying stuff online, and sometimes he's seen PayPal and wonders what I think. PayPal is a fine way of payment. PayPal is nice for one reason. If you pay with credit cards, the seller never sees your credit card, only PayPal. So there's a security there because nobody else sees all your personal info. And it's a fine way of payment. I use it all the time. Google Pay versus Apple Pay. Also, you're thinking about it and saying, is there? You kind of are a little wary about using your phone to pay for stuff. I do it all the time, and I can tell you one of the real cool reasons why this is safe is that when you pay with your phone, the merchant, the company, the store, the restaurant, when you tap with your phone, has a temporary card number. So your credit card is never shared with the restaurant or the company that you bought your stuff with. It is only in your phone. They have a temporary card number that cannot be used to do other transactions afterwards. So there's a real nice security added to that, and it works fine. I just love using my phone to tap. So we've got the questions here. Quickly. Gripple Pearls, what did you think of the new Outlook.com rollout? Why couldn't they fix the mail calendar and people all at one time? It ain't like they haven't had experience. The problem is that, Gripple Pearls, is that different teams, you know, the biggest issue at Microsoft is very simple. Different teams work on different things. And it is well known at Microsoft that a lot of the teams don't like each other. What does it do? It actually gives results like crappy things that are not working fine. Yes, that is beer, Sheriff's House, absolutely. Reese Autumn, yes, you know what? I will concentrate more on the 5 channels I have, okay? Because obviously, so I gotta invest my time on YouTube in a way that, because I'm making a living off of YouTube, so I gotta invest my time in a way that I can earn a living. The Linux channel is not one of the channels that has enough subscribers to be monetized. With the new rules, it is not monetized anymore. So what I thought is I have one that is called Easy Computer Fixes. I'm about to change the name of that channel to a more general term, because I thought, you know what? Why not have a mixed channel of all sorts of things? Already it has Mac and PC and Android videos. So I thought, why not mix it all with technology stuff, so you'll have videos on Android, on iOS, on Macs, on Linux, on PCs, on that channel, Easy Computer Fixes, which is monetized and still monetized because there's enough views and enough subscribers. So I'm going to start doing things there, I'm going to say. Oh man. So, no, Salvador, you can't use a virtual machine because that printer, and I totally know about it, won't work on a virtualization of Windows XP. It can't connect. It doesn't work fine. So, Kirk Weber, nope. Most drivers, most printers with drivers and stuff like that are totally unable to work in the compatibility mode. So he's better off with really, yeah, there are plotters also, Douglas Elliott, yeah, absolutely. It's very amazing. I'm amazed at that printer because I saw a few at some of my clients, and you know, with the pens, all the colored pens, it's like, wow, this is amazing. They are amazing just to look and watch them work. Crazy. I don't use Samsung Pay, Green 9227. I use Google Pay, which was Android Pay before. So I think the Insider Show will be good if you have a lot of beer. Well, I'm just at one, so you know. Hey, Radioactive, nice to have you here. So you know, just crazy. So hey guys, I'm gonna say goodbye because in 8 minutes we have to be on the other channel for the Windows Insider Hour. So I hope that you guys enjoyed your show. Is it easy to get copies of Windows XP? You know what? Probably, because there probably are tons and tons of CDs hanging around there everywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised. So that is. Hope you enjoyed today's show. If you guys have questions like Thomas and everything, please send the questions to help with your computers at gmail.com. I'll try to answer them next week. Thanks everybody for being here. Sorry for being a little expedited on the bye-bye, but in 7 minutes we have to be on the Insider channel. So hope you enjoyed today's show. We are in a few minutes, the time to refill my beer and set up the next show. And yes, next week we will have a special on cryptocurrency mining and cryptocurrencies and overall, and we'll try to explain that. We'll put a Learn the Tech segment in next week's show. So take care everybody. For those that are following, see you in just 5 minutes in the Windows Insider Hour. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. Love you all. And stay safe, please. So, see you in a few minutes.